Hello, and thank you for joining me. In this video, I am going to be covering Part 1 in Lab 16 of the ExaCS Workshop Series. Part 1 of Lab 16 discusses how to install Oracle REST Data Services and Application Express, otherwise known as Oracle Apex, on an Exadata Cloud Service database. Navigate to the OCI homepage, click the top left-hand hamburger menu, scroll down to find the Compute tab, click on Instances. Click the blue Create Instance button. Click the Change Image button, click the Oracle Images tab, scroll down to find the Oracle Cloud Developer image, click on that box. Scroll down, you'll find an Agreement checkbox, click on that, and when you have, press the blue Select Image button. Scroll down, choose your availability domain. Here, click on the VCN compartment to make sure you're in the right compartment. Should be the ExaCS compartment that we created. Make sure you're in the right ExaVCN virtual cloud network that you created in Lab 1. For the subnet, make sure you're in the correct compartment. Click the Bastion Regional subnet. Scroll down. Either choose or paste in your SSH key. Once you have, hit the blue Create button on the bottom. Now that we've created it, give it a few minutes. Right now it's in the yellow provisioning status, but you'll know it's provisioned once it turns to a green running status. Make sure you take note of the public IP address that's going to be on the right-hand side of the screen. You're going to need that to SSH into the instance. Now we're going to be opening up the terminal, or you can use PuTTY. Our next step here is that we're going to be doing an echo to find our pathway. Once we have, we're going to type in the Terraform help command. We'll type that in as a way to see if Terraform is already installed and what version it is. Go to Terraform prior to this lab. You can upgrade it using the command in the documentation. So go ahead and copy and paste that into your terminal. Run that command. And now let's give it a minute so it can start installing. You can see in this part of the lab that we updated from Terraform version 3.51 to 3.79. We're going to be copying the Terraform script command from the documentation. Go ahead and paste that in. Then we're going to unzip that file into the ORDS Apex ExaCS file that we just unzipped. Type in ls keys. We're going to have to generate a new key pair for a public-private RSA key pair. So go ahead and enter the file in which you want to save the key. So we're going to save it to our existing OPC pathway. ls keys. Do a cd ... ls variables file that you see in there. So type vi. Vi is going to be the command that allows you to edit the file. So type vi env vars. Press I for insert. Use the directional keys to be able to move down. Start moving down to the line that says export tf_var tenancy OCID. I'm going to take you to the console where you can find your tenancy OCID. Once you've found that, you're going to be pasting it in. Go ahead and copy that. Go back to the terminal. Now you're going to need to find your user OCID, which you can also find in the console. So go into your user in IDCS. Find your user ID. Now you have to find your fingerprint. So on your users page in the OCI console, you're going to be able to find your fingerprint. From that same page where you found your user OCID, scroll down. There's going to be a tab on the left-hand section called API Keys. This is where you're going to find your fingerprint. So go ahead and copy that. Paste that into your environment variables file. Keep moving down and find the line where it says your compartment OCID. You're going to have to go into the OCI console to find this as well. Hit the top left-hand hamburger menu, go down to the Identity tab and click on Compartments. Go into the compartment that you created in Lab 1. Click on that compartment and copy the OCID that you see there. Paste that into the section in your environment variables file. Now keep moving down. Go to the section that is asking for your admin password. The next line that we have to edit is your database private IP. You can find that when you click into your database system that you created in Lab 2. Click in, find the database that you're going to use. Go to the Nodes tab on the left-hand side and copy your private IP address. Paste that in. If you read the comment to the right, you can see that you can use a private IP if you're in a private subnet. In this case, we are. So we're just going to type in the same private IP address. On this line, we're going to be changing the database service name. You can find that in the console. We're going to be using the port 8080. Type that in. Instance shape. Here you're going to be putting in your instance shape that you used when you provisioned the instance. We chose the standard 2.1 instance shape. So if that's yours, just backspace a lot of that and keep the VM standard 2.1. Scroll down to the section that says Subnet OCID. Here you're going to be putting in your subnet's OCID. You're going to find your subnet OCID from the OCI console. Click the top left-hand hamburger menu. Scroll down to the networking section. Click on Virtual Cloud Networks. Scroll down and find the Bastion subnet. Click into that. Copy your OCID. Paste it into your environment variables file. Type in source env-vars. Type in Terraform init. This is going to set up your Terraform parameters. Type in Terraform plan. This will show us the plan in which the system will be spun up. Type in Terraform apply. Here it prompts you, do you want to perform these actions? Type in yes. Your Terraform script will start running. It took me about 9 minutes or so, so I'm going to fast forward this part, and I will pick back up once it's done installing. Take note of the public IP address as you're going to need that for the next step in the lab. Now as the Oracle user, we're going to SSH into the ExaCS node where your database system is. We're going to run SQL plus /as/sysdba. So once you have SQL plus open, type in the alter session set container dash and the name of your PDB, your pluggable database name, and follow the rest of the documentation from Lab 16. You're on step 4-2. Step 4-2 includes creating users and tables for the users in the database. Now we're going to create 2 tables in the schema we just created. After running this last create table command, you will have set up the schema and the tables. You are now ready to move on to the next part of the lab. Thank you.